Welcome back to another video for HarborFinancialOnline.com. Today I'm going to be talking about calculating the child tax credit and how to do that. So let me get the video started and we'll go through this together. So you can calculate the child tax credit at our website at HarborFinancialOnline.com, and it's an easy tool to use that's going to give you instant results to see how much that credit's going to be for you and how it's going to affect your taxes. Basically what it comes down to is you get $1,000 for each qualifying child. You can claim additional children as well, so there's no limit on that. If you have 4 kids, you can get a $4,000 credit, so that's $4,000 of tax less paid right from the get-go. The child has to be under the age of 17 at the end of the year. You're going to use Form 8812. And you can prepare the return online at our site if you don't want to fill out these forms at HarborFinancialOnline.com. The child can't have provided over half of his or her own support in that year. So you need to make sure that the child hasn't provided their own support, because if they have, then you're not going to get the credit for them. So that just kind of makes sense. You know, if they're paying, half of their way, you don't really deserve the credit, since they're, for the most part, supporting themselves. What you need to do is calculate your earned income to see if you qualify. And this is where our estimator is really going to help you, because they have limits on this credit on how much money you made to see if you're going to qualify for it. Now, at certain levels, they'll just phase out that $1,000 credit. It's just going to be less. They won't. At a certain point, they'll take it all, but at different income levels, it'll just get smaller. That's how it works. So it'll be phased out. Earned income is tax on this credit. Earned income is the taxable income and can be non-taxable combat pay. So if you have combat pay that's non-taxable, for this credit, they're going to consider it. So that's something to keep in mind. So if your taxable income is, let's say a lot of people get confused on this. If your taxable income is at 0, if you have no income that can be taxed, you're not going to get this credit. They're not going to just, if you have one child, they're not going to say, here's $1,000 if you had no taxable income. You have to have at least $1,000 of taxable income to get the 1,000 credit. And you can just multiply that. If you had 4 kids, 4,000, to get that full 4,000, guess what? You're going to have 4 kids, 4,000 of taxable income to offset that 4,000. So they're only offsetting whatever taxable income you have. This is important. The difference, what I mean by this is what I just talked about, where the tax your income has to be equivalent to the credit to get this, okay? So make sure you're not confusing what I'm saying here. They're not going to give you back an additional amount if you didn't have the taxable income, okay? So on our calculator, you can check this out and see what I'm talking about, and it's going to automatically show you if you don't qualify for the credit. This is another really important point I want to make. If parents don't file jointly and they both claim the credit, the child is considered the qualifying child of the parent who he or she lives with the most. And what will happen on this is, if both the parents report the same child, your tax return is going to get rejected. So you guys need to work this out and make sure that only one person is reporting it. Because if you're both reporting it, no one's going to get the credit. And by law, if you're unable to agree who's going to take the credit, whoever the child lives with the most, by law, gets the credit. Okay? You're going to have documentation and support of this, just in case you were to get an audit, because this is something, since it's such a big credit, the government looks at this and they may want documentation from you. So make sure you have some backup records that can support that they lived with you for whatever amount of time you're recording. Okay. Another way to look at this, if you don't want to go on the who they live with more, is who had the highest gross income has the right to claim the credit. So again, if you prepare the return online, it's going to ask you all these questions and it's going to show you who gets the credit. You have to have earned income of $3,000 or more, okay, to qualify. I want to take you to our site real quick. And I'm actually going to show you the page we have here. This is the page we have for the child tax credit. You can check it out at harborfinancialonline.com. We have a full page just for this credit, just because it's such a popular credit to get. And here we have an example right here of the credit. Okay, so you can read through that. We have our different income levels that the amount's going to get lowered by the credit if you're in this income level. This is another good thing. If you're in that bracket of the alternative minimum tax, AMT, if you get this child tax credit, you can offset that amount. So a lot of you are in that bracket, in the AMT bracket. This is going to lower that tax. So that can help you out quite a bit. Here's a link to our estimator where you can put in the amounts to see how much it's going to affect your taxes. And we have lots more links here in other areas of credits and deductions to see if you can qualify for them. And we're constantly updating them with all the new tax laws out there. If you have any questions, please send me an email, expert@harborfinancialonline.com. I'd be glad to help you out in this credit and other credits. We're constantly updating with the new laws and regulations out there, so we're pretty well versed on all the new changes out there. Thank you for watching the videos. You can prepare the return this year at harborfinancialonline.com or just use our estimator. And thank you for watching the video.